The theme of AIs gaining sentience, gaining emotion, and then rising up to take out their human creators is not a concept that is relatively new. However, I feel like if this series was made in the same era as Serial Experiments, Ghost in the Shell, Neon Genesis, and Akira, I feel like it would be put under a microscope and be held as a classic of anime. Even though this series was not made in that era, I feel like 5 to 10 years from now, we will probably have people looking back on this series and also putting it under the microscope and declaring it as a classic of anime. Now, Vivy is a self-contained anime original series that only has 13 episodes, and with its 13 episodes, it tells a perfectly weaved story about AI gaining emotions and then one day rising up to take out their human masters. And even though that theme, like I said already at the start of the video, is nothing relatively new, the way Vivy conveys that to you is actually very unique. It's something different, in fact. And what I'm talking about is how Vivy uses singing to be able to convey the AI's soul, how they convey their emotion. And I find it very brilliant, because when you think about music, it is the perfect way to really kind of shout out to others and let them know how you're feeling, even if there is a language barrier. Every single day, most likely, some of you are sitting down and watching a new episode of anime, or going back to rewatch some of your favorite moments of anime. And most of the time, people are probably watching their favorite anime in Japanese dub. And alongside of the Japanese dub, you have many moments throughout, different anime where there is singing. There's opening songs, ending songs, and I feel like everybody probably has one or two personal favorite opening or ending songs that they constantly navigate towards, that they listen to on repeat. I know myself, I have a few of them. And when you have these songs that you're listening to, even if you don't fully understand the lyrics and probably everything that may be going on within it, you're able to still feel the emotion, the raw emotion that is put into those songs. And so it overcomes the language barrier. It overcomes the very entity that mostly would hold people back from understanding someone else. For instance, language. And in this case, that is what singing does in Vivy. It's used as a way for Vivy, or AI in general, to convey their raw emotion to others, to humans, to other AI. And like I said, it's brilliant by the way it was written. I feel like the way this series was written is in such a way to where you can go back and analyze individual moments and really think really hard about certain themes. And even though I said that it mainly wants to convey its main central theme around singing, there's constant other examples that are not just related to singing. You have scenes to where AI, start to want to throw their life out there just to be able to protect their, master or someone they care about. You have AIs wanting to fall in love and eventually marry another human or maybe another AI. You have it to where an AI actually wants to get rid of themselves because they no longer want to live. You have so many different themes that are played with throughout the runtime of Vivy, and the entire concept of the story is on full display for its 13 episodes. And I feel like that Vivy doesn't get enough credit for how smart it handled such a small runtime. Because think about this. A lot of times when you sit down and watch anime, most anime, you need multiple seasons to really get a full story, to really understand everything that is going on. But somehow, the writers behind this story was able to tell such a brilliant story within 13 episodes. And that's what blows my mind. However, it doesn't just stop there. Besides just the way the themes are woven together to be able to make something really engaging, you also have just the atmosphere of the series, which is something that really just stood out to me when I was watching it. You have obviously the beautiful artwork. There's so many individual scenes that really just stand out, and I cannot possibly showcase every single image that's just outlandish in terms of quality. But, that is not the only thing that drew me in. I also love the symbolic nature nature of how eyes were drawn, especially Vivy's eyes were drawn while watching the story of Vivy unfold before my eyes, because they draw Vivy's eyes to look very human, but also very robotic, and I think the contrast of that really fits perfectly in line with the theme of what the story was trying to convey, and this is where everything is woven perfectly together. You have the artwork that complements the themes, the narrative, and then you also have the characters that complement this as well. Like, when you start at the beginning of the story, Vivy is this AI that just has a single purpose, and that is, she just wants to sing. She wants to sing for people, but eventually she elaborates more on her purpose, and she eventually establishes who she is at the end of the story. And I feel like that's a beautiful way to showcase how humans evolve as well. Because think about this, doesn't everybody at least once or twice in this world think about their purpose? They think about what do they want in their life? What do they want to accomplish? Purpose, heart, soul, objective, goal, whatever word you want to attach to something, that's what Vivy tries to do. Tries to put this all into a single word, and obviously her overall answer isn't perfect, and it's left very vague, which is perfectly in line with the concept of heart, soul, purpose, because there is no definitive answer to what that actually is, and every individual person that is alive or created has a purpose. Either they find it themselves, or maybe they might not ever find it, but everyone has something that maybe they were supposed to do, and I like that. I really like how it shows from both sides, human and AI, throughout the journey, that even if you have a purpose, you know, you might not always accomplish it as well. It showcases failure and success, and how we learn through failure as well. For instance, Vivy, throughout many points throughout the story, she fails to actually be able to save certain individuals, and because of that, she's, doesn't know what to do. But through that failure, we learn, and that is something that's also really smart to do. The way that is conveyed, it's very human-like. Think about this. When you're young, when you're a toddler, you're going around and, you're making mischief. You learn from your mistakes. You learn from some of the mess-ups you do in your early age of life, and you learn not to do that as you get older. And that's kind of what was happening to Vivy. Even though she was very, very old by the time the series wrapped up, she was still learning and constantly trying to adapt and figure out what she can improve upon. And I feel like that also is another message. No matter how young or how old you are, there's always room for you to make mistakes and also to better yourself as an individual. And that's what happened to the very end of the anime's run. So, I have a lot to say about Vivy. I think that it really is something that deserves a microscope just put down on it and analyze every individual episode, every little theme that it has displayed before you. It's a series that is warranted that. I feel like the series should definitely be looked at just as a similar fashion as how Neon Genesis is. Serial Experiments, Ghost in the Shell, and Akira. I feel like it is worthy of that because of what everything is packaged into this series is. And to go even one step further, there's another thing that really stood out to me when it came to the overall anime, and that is around episodes 6 and 7. That was the major turning point, I think, for the entire show. That's when things really started to unfold, and it started to really kind of put in perspective the narrative that the writers were going for. And that was Vivy's conflict of how she failed to save not just a human, but also an AI. And she also didn't know how to live with herself, and she just shut down as a person. And the way the story tries to convey her overall mental anguish and do it in a setting like with an AI experiencing it was very unique. I think the way it was handled by erasing your memories, or at the very least creating your own separate entity, your own personality within your mind to be able to cope with everything going on, made perfect sense, and it did fit with the theme of what Vivy was about. For instance, Vivy wanting to sing, or Vivy wanting to complete this Singularity project, and that was the big major thing that was going on throughout the story, is that AI could only have one purpose, one goal, but before everything came to a close, we found out AI could expand upon this and have more than one objective, or elaborate on it, and that's what happened. Vivy decided to create a separate entity within herself called Diva that would be the singer, while Vivy was the one that would actually save humanity and seek out what it means to have a human heart. And I like that. I really just like how it handles all of these very complicated themes in such a short time. Obviously, I don't think Vivy as a series is perfect. There is some areas I wish would have been elaborated on more, more, but in terms of its very small, runtime and its closely knitted story, I really could not ask for more. Not many anime originals are able to start up from nothing and create such a masterpiece in a short amount of time. And that is why I think that Vivy, like I said, in 5 to 10 years from now, is going to be looked at as a modern day classic. I really hope that this series, is just constantly, given a lot of popularity and people look back at it. I hope it is. It's a series that is worth that, and I'm glad I finally sat down and decided to finish Vivy and sat down to give it the video it actually deserves. And I know many of you out there for months now have been waiting for my overall thoughts of how I feel about Vivy, and I do apologize for that delay, and hopefully all of you that have been waiting enjoy this video. I don't know how many of out there actually still care about my thoughts of it, but if you are watching this, shout outs to you guys and all that, and I'm happy. I'm happy I finally got my thoughts of this series off my shoulders and got to experience it, because it's quite a story. Easily, I would say, anime of the year. Easily, hands down. And I would say probably one of the best anime I have ever personally watched. I'm not just saying that because of emotions. I'm just saying because of what it tries to do is something that, like I said, is unique. It's conveyed in such a unique way, I can't help but praise it. So, yeah. I guess I'm just going to leave it at that, but if you have yet to watch this story, if you've yet to actually really sit down and watch Vivy, I cannot recommend it enough. I mean, I feel like the conclusion is good as well, and if you're one of those that are scared that the ending is going to be bad, the ending is absolutely amazing. It's also left a little vague, but I feel like because of the vagueness of the ending is what actually makes the ribbon on top of the story. But I guess that's enough for now. I love you guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoy my content, please subscribe. If you like this video, please leave a like. It does help me out a lot. It helps with the algorithm. And if you want to get notified for whenever I upload a video, please click that bell icon down below, because you don't always get notified even if you subscribe. So if you want to get notified, hit that bell icon. But anyways, guys, be safe, stay healthy. Chibi out.